Hello my dear friends, you're in the Military Summary channel. In this short video we're going to discuss the most important events that took place during the previous night of the local time. Of course, we're going to start this video with the Battle of Robotyne, about the small settlement that located on the south of Orechov. The Deputy of Minister of Defense of Ukraine reported, Ganna Malyar reported that as a result of fierce fightings and clashes in this area, the Ukrainians managed to establish 100% control over the settlement. The Russian sources, after the Ukrainians provided that piece of news, are connected with the forces on the ground, to be more precise with the 1014th 430th Regiment, and the Russian forces confirmed that there are still clashes for the southern part, that the Russians still control the southwestern and the southern part of the settlement. Of course, it's up to you who to believe, the Russians or the Ukrainians. We've discussed the situation in Robotyne for many times. We discussed the Ukraine purposes and so on. But if you ask my opinion, whether the settlement fell and was taken by the Ukrainians or the Russians still controlled at least the western and the southern part of the settlement, I would say that the settlement has fallen and the Ukrainians established control. I'm building my conclusion not just according to my feelings, or I believe the Ukrainians more than the Russians or something like this. No, I build my conclusions based on the evidence that we received this morning also from the settlement. And the main evidence of that is the drone strikes, FPV drone strikes that took place in the central part of Robotyne. And those videos was made by the Russian forces, by some Russian squads. On this video we see how the Russians attacked the Ukrainian armored vehicle that's stuck somewhere in the trenches in the southern part of the settlement, on the southeastern part of the settlement. As a result of Lancet strike, that armored vehicle was destroyed, or at least completely damaged. Another evidence is the video that was provided us by Babry. You know this is this Babry squad, Babry unit that operates on this Orechov direction, and these forces attacked and provided us a lot of videos of drone strikes against the Ukrainian positions, Ukrainian forces, among the most important, the fields of the settlement, not inside the settlement. And another evidence of Babry strike that took place also this night. On this video we see how another Babry drone, Babry squad, discovered the Ukrainian positions somewhere in the southeastern part of the settlement, and as a result of FPV strike, another armored vehicle was damaged or probably destroyed. So you might ask me, but this is a regular video that we see hundreds of them before. And yes, we saw hundreds of such videos from Babry squad before, but main strikes and the main videos that took place before took place exactly in the fields. If you take a look at the map, and if we increase the number of updates since the beginning of August, we see these all icons with the drone. You see this, and all those videos, most more than 90%, was provided by Babry squad. And as you can see, according to this geography, to this configuration, the main area of Babry strike took place. The main area of their control took place in among these fields, and so on. So we see their main area of their concentration of Babry forces. But and if we take a look at Robotyne itself, since the beginning of Battle of Robotyne, we haven't received even a single video confirmation of any drone strike in the settlement. The Russians were mainly attacking the Ukrainians in this area using artillery system. But starting off today, the Russians start using Babry against the Ukrainians. And there might be at least two explanations of this thing. The first one is that the situation in Robotyne is critical, and the Russians took a decision, the Russian squad, Babry, took a decision to change their focus from the fields in direction of Robotyne, and currently they try to support and help the Russian forces to repel the Ukrainian attacks and not to allow the Ukrainians to capture the settlement. This is the first option. And the second option, and for me, I stick to the second variant, second option, is that the Ukrainians managed to develop their bridgehead so far, so deep in direction of Nova Prokopovka, so the Russian Babry squad were forced to step back, because it's a drone squad, it's a very priceless unit. The Russians can't risk with this type of unit because they're very successful. They showed us significant results during the previous days, and according to probably some military doctrine, the Babry unit were forced to step back further deep inside of Russian territory. And as I understand, according to my understanding of the situation, Babry squad were redeployed somewhere in direction of the small settlement Ilchenkova, and or Rivne. in these two directions. So probably the first direction of Babri and of redeployment, and this might be the second one. So to be as far as possible from the combat line, to reduce the risk of being attacked by the Ukrainian artillery systems and drones. And that's why the Russians currently have possibility to attack just this area because of the distance. They can't attack the fields because they were forced to step back further deep inside the Russian controlled territory. And this is probably the evidence I'm using why I'm saying that Robotyne has fallen. One more time, the Russians currently are forced to move their long-range artillery systems and drone squads deeper on the territory of Russian Federation, of controlled Russian territory. So this is about Robotyne. Furthermore, the Ukrainians continue sending more and more forces inside of the settlement. On this video, we can see how another Bradleys try to enter Robotyne and try to move more infantry, some munition and something like this. The Russians discovered the Ukrainians, and as a result of artillery strike, another few Bradleys, at least the author of this video claims about 2 Bradleys, were destroyed. The infantry managed to land and to take their positions along the forest lines. So one more time, as I understand, Robotyne has fallen today completely, and the Russians are trying to rebuild their positions and to move artilleries and drone forces further deep inside the Russian controlled territory. When talking about other regions, today we have some updates regarding the continuous clashes in the vicinity of Gulay-Polye. We got today the second video of Russian tank attack against the Ukrainian positions. Currently the situation is calm and salient in this area, no clashes, no massive clashes, but the Russians start making some kind of reconnaissance in combat and start intensifying their actions in Gulay-Polyevsky direction. When talking about Remivka tactical bridgehead, we haven't received almost nothing as well, just a few regular videos from the Russian side, how they established some kind of fire control over the Ukrainian positions in Makarovka, and they're attacking the settlement 24 hours, 7-day week with the cluster rounds, with the thermobaric rounds and so on, trying not to allow the Ukrainians to concentrate their forces. And the Russians attacked and destroyed another Ukrainian stronghold in the vicinity and the east of Blagodatne as a result of mortar strikes. So nothing special, just a regular military routine, not to allow the forces, either the Russians and the Ukrainians, to accumulate their forces, because the Ukrainians also published the video of usage of cluster rounds as a result of strike. The Russians lost another ammo depot that located on the east of Staromlinovka. When talking about other front lines, just a few regular updates, nothing special. The Russians managed to discover and destroy Ukrainian crab that located on the west of Andreevka, the Ukrainian crab that Ukrainians were using to supply and support the Ukrainian offensive operation that took place during the previous weeks. The only interesting note that the Russians reported regarding that crab, that after they destroyed or during the process of attack, they captured the radio signal of the forces in the vicinity of that crab, and the Russians reported that there were Polish officers or Polish soldiers who were operating that system. When talking about Kupiansk-Liman front line, we haven't received also almost nothing, just regular clashes, and the Russians published another video how they were bombing and attacking the Ukrainian positions along the railways that goes from Kupiansk in direction of Kislovka-Kotlarovka. The Ukrainian forces, the Ukrainian convoy was heading from Kislovka-Kotlarovka in direction of Kupiansk. The Russians discovered that using drones, and after that, as a result of artillery strikes, the Ukrainians, some vehicles that were moving along that road were destroyed or at least damaged. So one more time at the end of the video, according to my understanding, Robotyne fell today on the 28th of August of 2023. And that's it for today. Military Summary channel reminds to condemn any violence in the world. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, put your likes, share my Patreon, and have a good day. Bye bye.